Hello, good evening everybody, and welcome to round number 12, the final round of the North American Grand Prix Monday Night Formula Lotus Championship, coming to you live from Suzuka. We're running the 1988 layout of this famous track, and we're about to roll this one over to qualify here in a moment. And but before we go any further, Brad Maris is once again in the booth with me. Brad, welcome.
Yeah, once again in the booth and ready to roll. So the track doesn't need too much introduction here. Suzuka 88. A lot of people are going to know this one. It's a big crowd favorite, I guess you could say. A lot of our drivers don't need much introduction. Down to it here, Al. Our last round of this championship. The pressure is really on for particular drivers here tonight, but looking at some of those times, Al, we might have a surprise or two who could steal the win here, the final win of season 29. Could happen tonight, Al.
Yeah, seeing some of the times here in the 06s, 07s, but the guys are just rolling out here on their out lap. Let's take a quick look at the track map for tonight's race. 18 corners. We are running the chicane version of this layout of this track, but this 88 version is it's not as safe. So that's how they used to run them back in '88. So safety out the window here tonight. No paved runoffs or anything like that. Just gravel, and this track is particularly pretty much unchanged, Brad. Really. Compared to the current layout. The chicane might have been adjusted through the years, but pretty much the same layout.
Well, I tell you, the version that we are running here tonight, I tell you, there are some pretty treacherous bumps around this circuit, and I had a tough time in my reconnaissance laps. Frankly, I ran out of time before I really got a handle on the place, so I suspect it's taken a bit of setup work for these guys that expect to do well here tonight. They've got their work cut out for them, I suspect.
All right, so we are going to go on board here momentarily. Our championship leader, Eiran Parsons. There's a lot we're going to go over here momentarily, but in terms of championship implications for these guys, but Parsons about to start his first flying lap in this last race of season 29 in the Formula Lotus. It will be a different spec Formula car next Monday, so next Monday's season. It's probably the last time we'll see these guys for a while, as Parsons now makes his way here into turn one, and on his way to the tricky S's here at Suzuka.
Yeah, got turn one pretty well, actually. That is an extremely difficult braking zone to pick up there in turn one, and now you see the S's moving around constantly all the time and in second gear around these corners. So not necessarily high-speed corners, but a real rhythm section, of course. And coming up through Dunlop, got to be really careful here on exit, so not a lot of front grip on offer here with the Lotus 72D, so you do have to manage the pace now coming through the Dengar curve. And second gear again here for Eza, and approaching now the hairpin, so halfway through the lap, but it doesn't get much easier from this point. How got some tricky corners coming up, including this hairpin. See, the bumps really do affect this 72D. Boy, they can really catch you out on entry and exit both. You can get that front end chattering away and lose the front grip even more than there's already not much there on offer. Now coming through Spoon, of course, second part of this really tightens up. Have to get it just right though, so you can get a blast down the back straight here. I think Eiran might have gotten a little bit wide there on that entry, but coming up to 130R now. Well, this is the deal right here. It'll be interesting to see if Eiran elects to go for third or fourth gear. Going to be third gear for Eiran Parsons, and coming up now to the final chicane. Got a break about at the chain link. And it's no textbook on throttle there. Come through that corner with the bumps. The rear end can really kick around on you through there too. So, yeah, there you have it. Pretty tidy looking lap, Al.
All right, so that's going to move him up provisionally to number 1 with a 2:05.5. Moses surpasses him with the 2:05.3. So it's the top 2 in the championship, 1 and 2 presently, separated by just over a tenth. John Watson starting a flyer, our leader in the competition index. Doesn't look like he got much track time leading up to this event, so just looking at the practice times a little earlier, and yeah, I mean, he's not up by much in the competition index, so he needs to keep it together here for this one.
That's interesting. He wouldn't have gotten much practice. I didn't see those practice times and who might have done what in terms of overall laps. But you know, John Watson is. I don't particularly think he's the same driver without that practice. So could hurt him here tonight.
Watch Watson make his way through the hairpin.
Yeah, really difficult. The ratios on these cars make it difficult also under acceleration. You never quite get the pop that you want, right? When you get on the throttle, it always takes some time for the motors to spool up for you where you want them to be. Oh, having a little difficulty there through the first part of spin. Looking to stay in third through the second part.
He's only a tenth off in the first sector. Lost a bit of ground there in the sector 2. Way through 130R up into the chicane.
Now what?
Very tight line into the chicane here. Let's see where Watson will place here.
Yeah, looks like he might be able to improve his time.
He does, but does not improve his time in the standings. So it is currently Moses, Parsons, and Jonathan Cuppett up to third. Matt Taylor on an out lap. He is currently in 5th. Taylor finishing 2nd last week in Mexico behind his teammate Moses. 1-2 finish for PMR.
Yeah, sorely needed points for Matt Taylor and that team. Of course, we'll touch on that championship momentarily, but well and truly in the fight for that season 29 championship. Those points are close, Al.
Yeah, super close here. So I forget, Taylor still, you know, he's pretty much going to have to run the table here if he wants a chance to win the championship. He's 24 points back. That's what you get for a win here. You get a bonus point for leading the most laps and a bonus point for qualifying. So he's going to need the guys up front to have some really bad luck, and he's going to have to, let's see, he's got 2 wins. Actually, if he wins, he would win on a tiebreak.
Yeah, it's the old mathematically alive situation.
Yeah, I got my calculator handy here, Brad. Taylor making his way through the first sector. Notice here Parsons up in sector 1.
Yeah, talk about important points. Boy, those times are close. We saw a bevy of drivers there in the 07 range in practice. Saw somebody clip into the 06s, but a lot of 07s out there.
Parsons making his way through the final chicane. He was up on his lap time, so let's see where he slots up. He can move up into pole position. He does by 900ths of a second. Wow, is right. See what Taylor can do now. Behind in sector 2 by 3/10. Let's keep Keep in mind, both Parsons and Moses carrying 40 kilograms of success ballast for tonight's race. And Taylor up big in Sector 2. Matt Taylor carrying 35 kilograms. The only other guy in the running for the championship is John Houston, carrying 10 kilograms of ballast. He's the lightest of the bunch.
Yeah, and so you'd think that he would have a golden opportunity here for his mathematical shot.
So Taylor coming to the line. Pretty tighty there. Ooh, Taylor now jumps up to provisional bowl by 3/1000ths of a second over Eiran Parsons. Wow, he's doing what he needs to get done here.
Ridiculously close those times.
Board now with John Houston. See if he has an answer for these guys.
Boy, as you jump on board John Houston, I'm looking at that John Watson first sector time as well, so he is on a good one.
Pretty stunning lap for Taylor after he was down 3/10 in the first sector. He really made it up in the last two. But yeah, that ringing some alarm bells. John Watson 4/10 up in sector 1. Houston, he's way off in the first sector. And Watson way off. Sector 2.
That would be a mistake.
Yeah, looks like he might have made a mistake somewhere.
Well, it's so easy to do. I tell you, these cars are right on the edge here around this Suzuka circuit. Very high speed. Again, very bumpy. There's some corners you really have to be aggressive with if you want to set that ultimate time.
Mike Greatrick 6/10 off in sector 1. Greatrick's currently slotted in 7th. Ooh, throws a wheel off into the grass, but he's able to maintain and hang on to the car. Exiting Spoon on his way down now through this back straight, the infamous 130R. See how Mike gets through here. Clean through there for Mike.
Yeah, he's also going through there in 4th. One of the better exits I've actually seen out of the chicane so far. Casio chicane, is that what it's called? Something like that.
I believe you're right. Greatrick does not improve. He improves his time, but does not improve his position on the in the qualifying order here. Ooh, we just picked up Marty. We just threw it off into the gravel traps. Greg Myers in the pit lane, probably having a smoke. Jake Feimster in 10th, having his best points finish of the season last season. Jake joining us pretty late. He joined us at Watkins Glen or Mosport, I don't recall, but the second half of the season. But points in his last 2 events, and slowly but surely picking up the pace here.
Yep, nearly broke into the top 10 last week out there at Mexico City. That very exciting race out there in Mexico City.
Looks like Jake just starting his flying lap. Martin now sets a personal best 2:06.3. Still in 6th, however. Taylor up on his time in sector 1. Houston just crossed the line, setting his personal best, but does not improve. Keep an eye on that Taylor time. He was 3/10 off in the first sector, his best lap, and he's even there through the first sector on his current lap. So let's Looks like he lost a bit of time in sector 1. Let's pick up Taylor here as he closes out this lap.
Yeah, we're pretty clean coming through Spoon, but didn't see what happened there at the hairpin, so nonetheless lost a bit of time there in the second sector for whatever reason.
Heavy on the brakes into the chicane. Ooh, he backed out of it. Interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on there.
Houston just coming out of the pit lane. There's Chandler exiting the pits. Speaking of the pits, very, very tricky pit lane here. That's one of the big major differences, aside from the runoff, is the pit entrance here. Back in 88, it is a challenge, to say the least, probably the toughest part of the track. Gomez is in the pits, Calderon. These guys look like they have yet to set a time here. Brian Story, 13 seconds off. He hasn't set a time. Up Douglas. Also not setting a time yet. Ooh, Chris Moses up big in sector 1 by 0.6 of a second.
You know, it almost seems like on some tracks with this car, you almost have to get lucky. So you just have to have that one lap where it just happens to stick at every corner, and maybe that's what's happened for Moses here through the first sector.
Yeah. Just keeps it relatively clean. Ooh, which a little ugly there through Spoon. Could find himself on pole here. He drops a couple tenths here in this. Oh, he's up. Still up through the second sector. Lost a little time, however.
Yeah, didn't give up. I mean, it's hard to tell, but didn't give up as much as it seemed like he could have. Yeah.
Now Cup it up in the first sector. There's a big wild card right there, is Cuppet.
Sure, yeah.
Out of the championship running, but man, he's been on the edge of winning here those last couple weeks. So Moses coming to the line. Let's see where he ends up. The provisional pole with a 2:04.9. So Moses, the first car in the 04s. So really laying it down here.
Boy, sure is, and with that 40 kilograms of success ballast as well, so very impressive lap. These guys only have about 7.5 minutes now to respond to that Moses provisional pole, so it's getting tight.
Very important point for Moses if he can snatch pole here. Only 4 points behind Parsons in the championship. Well, we're watching Cuppet here making his way through the final chicane. He was green in sector 2. Coming to the line, and he is not going to improve. Wow, he lost a bunch in the third sector. Kevin Miller sets his personal best 7th at the 2:06.8.
Yeah, Kevin, of course, also showing that great speed here late in this season. Also, I thought might be a possible threat here to steal a win without an excessive amount of weight, but so far it doesn't look like so much.
A lap by Miller pushed Greatrix down a position to 8th. Watch Watson, looks like he's got a handful. Working that wheel.
That seems to be his preferred method of driving this Lotus 72D is, you know, kind of side to side and back and forth.
Yeah. Ooh. Big slide from Watson, but keeps it together. Just over 5 minutes remaining in this final qualifying session of season 29 here on Monday nights. It is Chris Moses out front by over 3/10 up on his teammate here for provisional pole. Ooh, Watson, that ain't gonna help. Into the gravel trap goes Watson.
Well, I have to say, looking at a guy as John Houston, so 30 fewer kilograms of ballast on the car, and yet still 6/10 off of that Chris Moses time. Now we know John Houston, not traditionally the best qualifier in the world, but still nonetheless. That I would have figured him to be a little further up the order than that, or at least a little closer to that Chris Moses time.
Watch Matt Taylor. Looks like he is on an out lap. So a lot of these guys on out laps currently. Eiran coming out of the pit lane. Feimster is in the pit lane, so trying to pick up. Looks like Moses was on a flyer, but made some type of mistake. Parsons now starting a flying lap here. Let's see if Parsons can respond. This might be the only opportunity Eiran has to take pole away from Chris Moses.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, who knows? Maybe he can set up to run 2 timed laps. But in any case, he's only going to get maybe 2 more attempts in. Boy. I wonder if...
9 in the first sector. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wonder if Aaron Parsons is thinking, how the heck do I get down into the 04s? I don't know if he's thinking that or not, but I'm kind of wondering if he is. I mean, he and Chris Moses, both of those 40 kilograms of weight. And I have to think that Chris Moses time is pretty darn impressive.
Now, the main thing for him, I think, for Parsons is to get in front of Matt Taylor. If he can start on the front row, then he's got a shot to take the lead going into turn 1. So,
yeah, good point.
you know, if I know I don't get the pace, he's only, what, 0.003 of a second off of Taylor's personal best, so. Parsons 2/10 off in the second sector, so this might be good enough for second place. Big lockup going into that chicane. Nice exit. Not much wheel spin. Ooh.
Yeah, it looked okay.
Little wheel spin there. A lot of traffic ahead of him.
Well, it wasn't good enough, I guess.
It's not good enough. He backed out. He's got 2 minutes. He's got to get right back out there.
Oh,
there he goes.
He's got to get going.
Yeah.
This is going to be close. Maybe he'll get around.
Interesting. Taylor let him by.
Yeah.
Good sportsmanship there from Taylor.
That'd be pretty heads up by Matt Taylor, actually, if you could recognize there in a split second that the situation.
Watching Jonathan Cuppett now as he's looking to improve on his time.
He's not far off, is he, Al?
No, he's not. Got some traffic up ahead. Ooh, big moment for Cuppett. It's not going to help. So he looks like he may be on an out lap here. Moses is in the pits. He's done. So whatever happens from this moment on, it's in the books for Moses. Ooh, yes, Houston, big impact, exiting the spoon corner.
Well, that's going to do it for John Houston too then. Wow.
get on it here. He's got 39 seconds to get this lap going. Got to get it in before the checkered flag waves. I don't know if Taylor's going to have time. These guys got some traffic up ahead also.
I don't think Taylor's going to have time. I'm not sure Ezra's going to have time. He might want to think about cutting the chicane here or doing something else kind of illegal. We'll see. Count it down from 10. I don't know. No, he's not going to get it.
Not close enough. It's over.
Wow.
So it's going to be Moses and Taylor starting 1 and 2, I suspect. Kevin Miller is in the pits. Graytrick's in the pits. Marty is out on track. He is just ahead of Parsons. Marty's going to be the last guy, it looks like, to act here.
Yeah, Feimster is coming up through 130R, so it looks like Feimster will get himself another lap, but looking pretty off the pace at the moment.
Feimster through the chicane. Does not improve. Marty Eiran still out on track, as is Parsons. Brought it in the pit, so he's all done. Marty makes his way through the 130R. Just set his best time. So Marty to the stripe. Improves his time, but does not improve his position. Chandler looks like he's going to be the last guy to... No, maybe not. All right, so that does it. Chris Moses snatches pole. Big bonus point for Chris here going into this race, but I'm telling you, that was huge for Parsons not to get in front of Matt Taylor there to start on the front row, Brad. Yeah, that's a very good point that you made. If he does start from the front row, he has a chance to get in front, and now it's he better hope that he can split up that PMR team and still have a shot running second to Chris Moses. If he gets stuck behind both those guys, yeah, it might be game over for Aaron Parsons. I mean, that would be the positions Chris Moses needs from that point to take away this season 29 championship. I mean, that's how close it is. It could just come down to one position tonight for that championship and the big prize as well. And speaking of the championships, it is very close here up top between Parsons and Moses. It's 177 and 173. Now it's a 3-point difference between Parsons and Moses, as Moses gets that bonus point for pole position. John Houston in third with 154, 23 points behind, and Taylor 24 points back in fourth with 153 points. In the team championship, it is T-Brock Dam Bam, John Houston, and Aaron Parsons with 331. PMR, Precision Motor Racing's, that's Chris Moses and Matt Taylor with 326. Was a 5-point advantage. Now it's just a 4-point difference between those two teams. And I'm telling you, Houston needed to get in front of Cuppet there. This is going to be interesting, Brad, to see how this team championship plays out, and more importantly, the drivers championship, how that plays out.
Yeah, you know, the attendance has gone down a little bit here toward the end of this season 29 championship, but for a few, the pressure has only gone up as the season's gotten later. And there's actually a bit of pressure on these guys, it has to be said. I mean, hey, we're all out here for fun and Yahoo and, you know, what have you, whatnot and so forth. But for these guys right now, this is pretty serious business, and they're thinking about this a little bit, particularly if you're John Huston and probably Matt Taylor. Chris Moses, Aaron Parsons, you know, they're going for this championship. If they get the driver's title, then okay, whatever in terms of the team championship, that's gravy. So, but all four of those guys, it is on. So this is interesting stuff. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Somebody out is going to crack. The only question is who's it going to be? I don't know.
Let's touch on real quick the competition index that is John Wathan leading that by 8 kilometers, just over 8 kilometers over John Huston, who is in second. And I'll tell you what, it's what is it? 5, almost 6 kilometer track, 5.839. It's going to be. Should Wathan have some trouble here and finish a couple laps back, this could be Houston's championship competition index prize to win. These guys all get prizes here for winning both the drivers' team championship and that competition index, which is given out to the driver who covers the most distance in the season, mainly to encourage drivers to finish races and not give up. So it's a prize we all shoot for. Myself personally on Thursdays, I know Brad, it's something you look to do as well. So pretty cool prize, I should say. But before we get started here, let's run down the starting order here for tonight's race. This final running here of the Lotuses on the Lotus 72s on Monday night. It's going to be Chris Moses from pole, followed by Matt Taylor second, Eiran Parsons third, Jonathan Cuppett's going to start fourth, and John Huston in fifth.
John Wathan will take 6th, Kevin Miller slots 7th, Mike Greetrex takes 8th, Marty Eiran starts 9th, Gregory Myers in 10th.
Jake Feimster is going to start 11th, Kurt Chandler 12th, Ryan Story 13th, Omar Gomez 14th, Calderon's going to start 15th, and Gup Douglas, did not set a time in qualifying, is going to start in the 16th starting position.
Yeah, a little interesting. I don't think Gup had a penalty or anything, so I think he just decided to start toward the back.
Yeah, it's something I've noticed he's done on Thursdays and Mondays. He's still kind of getting his feet wet here in AC, and I think at the moment he just prefers to start from the back of the grid. But 50 seconds to go here before we go green. Brad, any final thoughts?
Well, I think you have to like Chris Moses' starting position. He's not likely to make any mistakes if he is able to get out in front, okay? It's not uncommon for Chris Moses to suffer a little bit more tire degradation, these types of things, just by style of his driving, so could be an advantage for Aaron Parsons, but if Matt Taylor does able to get that second spot wired down, then yeah, it's a tough night for T-Brock Dambam and PMR. I think they may have the advantage here.
Yeah, I think you're right there. It's going to be very important for Parsons to get ahead of Taylor as quickly as he can and then take the fight to Moses. It looks like everybody's on the soft tires. We're about to go green here from Suzuka. Nice start from Moses as well as Matt Taylor as the field makes the run into turn 1. And it might be advantage Parsons here on the inside of Taylor. Taylor's going to hang on to that spot. Cuppett slides in behind Parsons, and John Wathan with the great start gets out ahead of John Huston. So Wathan now up to 5th.
Aaron Parsons did not push the issue terribly hard there on the start, going through turn 1. Decided to play it a little safe.
Yeah, he did play it safe, and sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, they say. So Parsons all up the tailpipe here of Matt Taylor on this first lap. He's got to hang on. Can't let these guys get away from it. Moses off to a great start. Already pulling some distance between himself and his teammate. Cuppet now having a look on the inside of Parsons. Cuppet. Talk about him. We know he's got the pace, and behind Cuppet is John Watson, who's off to a tremendous start here.
Yeah, he is looking quite racy relative to his qualifying time. I'm not going to say lackluster qualifying, but wasn't great. But here with the fuel, at least on the first lap, looking pretty sharp.
Parsons had a look at Taylor there going into the chicane, but still tucked up behind Taylor in third.
Eiran Parsons not able to hang with Matt Taylor down the straight. That could be another deficit there if you're Eiran Parsons.
Ooh, it's Gomez, and big incident. Looks like that's Gomez, and who was that? I think that was Calderon. Oh, Gomez and Brian Story coming together there going into turn one. Kind of saw that coming. Jake Feimster did a pretty decent job avoiding that. There's not much he could have done there as the road was pretty much blocked not to go out in the gravel. I think he may have had some contact. Gap is 1 second between, over 1 second between Moses and Parsons in third. Parsons all over the back of Matt Taylor here.
Yeah, Matt Taylor got the gap going down the straight, but Eiran Parsons has definitely closed it up here through the twisties.
Block up there for Moses going into the hairpin.
Yeah, like I say, we will not see a mistake by Chris Moses. So if Eiran Parsons wants to get up there, he is definitely going to have to do it on merit, and that's going to include getting past teammate Matt Taylor.
I'll tell you what, impressive drives from these guys behind the top three early on in this race. Cuppet, Wathen, and John Houston all hanging on to the front pack of cars here. Not letting them get away. Oh, there might have been some contact there between Cuppet and Taylor. Exiting the hairpin. Parsons may have a run on Taylor here down the straight. Moses throws it off. Parsons trying to get around. He does. He gets by Taylor. He moves into the lead. Wow. Unbelievable.
That turn one is so difficult. Now, I would have put the odds of Moses making a mistake about 1 in 100, but he sure did. Hey, we're all can succumb to the pressure, and I think it got to Chris Moses there.
That has bunched up the top 6 here. Ooh, Taylor nearly threw it off, and that's going to let Cuppet get past, potentially. These guys go too wide into that corner. Very tricky corner. Cuppet does get past Taylor, so Cuppet now moves up to third. Wathen now all over the back of Matt Taylor.
I tell you, just to keep these things on this track out.
Taylor nearly throws it off. Go ahead, sorry, Brad.
Yeah, well, just that's a perfect example. The margins are so small for maintaining the ultimate grip. You just can't hardly push that tiny. You can't go like a half inch over that line. You're just out of control so fast.
would have expected this, as John Wathen now putting intense pressure here on Matt Taylor for fourth.
Boy, he sure is, and with John Houston there in sixth, this is break out the calculator early here, Al, because it's close. It's nip and tuck already.
I'm not breaking it. I'm not breaking it out till after pit stops. I can't take it. I can't do that many things at once. I'll let you do that. Wow. Taking a look on the inside of Taylor, not going to get it done. A gap out front now. It's 1.2 seconds. Parsons over Chris Moses. You got to wonder there, Brad. I really caught the end of that little incident with Taylor and Moses nearly throws it off again. Wow, he's really pushing. He got very lucky there. But you got to wonder, did Parsons make contact with Taylor at the exit of that exit of the chicane? Because I really couldn't tell. It looked like it.
Well, yeah, there may have been a bump. I don't know that there's damage. I would have to say that there probably was not damage on the part of Aaron Parsons, because I don't think that he would be able to stay out to this gap for a whole lap if he picked up some of that damage on the front wing. So I don't think he has damage, but nonetheless, critical mistake there by Chris Moses, and we'll have to see if he can gather himself back up here to refocus. These guys should have very similar pace. But we will see. Like I say, Moses tends to use the car up a bit more than Aaron Parsons over the course of a stint, so we'll see if that hurts him.
John Wathen with putting a block on John Houston there, going into the hairpin.
Boy, that's got to be frustrating for John Houston. Those are sorely needed points. I mean, they have to have that position here if you're John Houston.
Yeah, Wathen's very lucky. Houston got a hold of that. Kevin Miller now has joined the party here. He is now running in seventh. Good job coming up here and catching up with these guys.
Boy, and we've got that close action up at the front with the points chase in play, but here comes Mike Greatrex and Gup Douglas up to 8th, Al, starting at the back. I guess it was the right decision.
Yeah, good job there from Gup. Sorry, failed to catch up with these guys further back, but Kevin Miller in 7th and a little ways back. You see Gup now coming through 130R, followed by Greatrex. Rick Myers with a nice start in 10th.
Oh. Sorry, Wathen threw it off momentarily. Houston could not take advantage. Sorry.
Big moment from Wathen. He nearly threw it off. Parsons just sets fast lap of the race with a 2:06.7.
Boy, that gap's opening up quickly for Aaron Parsons.
And now Kevin Miller gets a run on. Houston throws it off. He had just gotten past Wathen and throws it off. Kevin Miller, meanwhile, with a great pass on John Wathen and gets by John Houston at the same time. So Miller now up to 5th. Big moment there for Wathen.
Competition index in play, John Wathen. Take it easy, buddy. I'll just say it right now. I think this turn 1 at this track, I think it's the toughest turn, well, with the exception maybe of Spa 66. It's nip and tuck between the kink out there at Spa 66 and turn 1 here at Suzuka. It is, freaking tricky.
It's a great battle here between Wathen, Miller, and John Houston. Gap out front is 2.6 seconds between Parsons and Moses for the lead. Mike Greatrex now pressured here by Greg Myers for 9th. On board with Greg. Tuppett now putting some pressure on Chris Moses. That's for 2nd.
Yeah, Moses falling off the pace a bit, it looks at the moment.
Working lap 5 of 26. Look for these guys to come in right at halfway around lap 13. Got a little inside information that these soft tires really fall off quickly. They're right around that lap, so. Tuppett really putting the pressure on Moses. Meanwhile, John Wathen. Houston now has gotten back past John Wathan. So Wathan now back in 7th. Let's keep going this
that
way.
Just happened.
Yeah, Gup may find himself here in the thick of this here battle.
Well, that's an important spot for John Houston. He needs a couple more. Now, we've seen John Houston typically get stronger as these races have go on, deeper into the events. So we'll see if that plays for him here. But he's going to need another couple positions if he wants to secure this team championship with teammate Aaron Parsons.
Greg Myers.
Now, I will be back in 60 seconds. Sorry.
Greg Myers really putting a lot of pressure here on Mike Greatrix. This is 4th, 9th. Greg had a run on him going down the front straight, but it's like Greatrix might be carrying a little less swing than Greg. Greg unable to motor past. A little further back up to this battle between Wathan, Houston, and Miller. Got my eye on Moses and Cuppet as well. Those two really tooth and nail. Now John Houston on the inside of Miller. Nice job by Miller to let avoid contact there. Saw Houston made the pass on the inside. Nice job by both those guys. Now we have John Wathan trying to make a move on Kevin Miller. Notice
Okay, I'm back.
Notice Chuck Carter not here tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, missing a few guys.
Oh, no,
Ivy not around. Sam.
Yep, good point. I got a message from Chuck saying he was going to be up. He was away or something. So fortunate for Chuck, couldn't be here for the last one. But still, a great battle here for this.
Oh, Houston up to 5th.
Oh yeah. Yep, made a nice pass on Matt Taylor. Kevin Miller. Ooh, Greg Myers. Sorry, Greg. We just missed the tail end of that. He's made his way past Mike Greatrix now. He's moved up to 9th. So good job by Greg. It took him a couple, 3 laps to get that pass made. But he finally got it done. Further back, Brian Story and Omar Gomez. These two had quite the incident on lap 2. Coming together. Jim Feimster up to 12th. Not far off of Marty Eiran running in 11th. So we'll keep our eye on Jake, see how he makes his way through the field here. Ooh, Wathan clipping the grass, doing a little lawn mowing there. So back up front, we have Eiran Parsons with the 4-second lead on Chris Moses. And if you're just joining us here, Chris Moses getting pole position here. Extra bonus point, 3-point difference between these two guys in the championship. Moses currently running in 2nd. Moses led the first 2 laps and threw it off as he was throwing it off track. Eiran Parsons made a beautiful pass on Matt Taylor going into turn 1, and at the same time as Moses was rejoining the track, Parsons managed to get past Moses to take over the lead of the race. Ooh, Cuppet with a big slide, hangs on to him. And this is where we are right now. So it is Parsons, Moses, and Cuppet, your top 3. This is just going to help Parsons. If he can lead these laps, Brad, that bonus point for leading come into play here.
Yeah, it really could, because if Chris Moses does go on, if Chris Moses goes on to win, he wins, because he has more wins in the bank. So if Chris Moses wins this race, he wins the championship. And we're still at that situation. So regardless, even if Parsons leads the most lap, they'd be tied.
He'd be up by, it's 20. No, he'd be up by, me see. 3-point difference. Let me not do math out loud right now. Hold on.
Well, it's 3 points. It's 3-point difference. If Aaron Parsons takes most laps, that's a point for Aaron Parsons. Is back to 4 points. It's 4 points, 4 extra points for the win. And it comes down to number of wins that they're tied.
Correct. Right now, he's leading. That's all I know.
Yeah. No, and vice versa. If Aaron Parsons wins the race, he wins the championship.
We need a stat guy. That's next season. I get to hire a stat guy. Any propeller hats out there want to help us out? Let me know.
Does NAGP have the budget for that, Al?
We'll see what we can do.
Well, since nobody gets paid anything, I guess it probably do. But nonetheless, yeah, it is still all to play for. And John Houston right now, by virtue of running just one position behind Matt Taylor, I think that team is okay with Aaron Parsons still out front.
Ooh, scary moment for John Houston. He nearly lost it through 130 yards. But it's still really tight here between Houston, Miller, and John Wathen. Those three guys, about a second change separating them.
Yeah, anything could still happen.
So looking at the gaps here, that gap between Moses and Parsons has remained pretty static. Looking at the lap times, Parsons with fast lap of the race with a 2:06.7. From there, it's been 2:07s. Moses, a couple 2:07s and a couple 2:08s sprinkled in there as well.
Yeah, that gap has stabilized a little bit, hasn't it? So it hasn't continued to grow. Yeah, interesting. If you're Chris Moses, you definitely kind of tuck that away in the back of your mind as you prepare for your second stint. So pit stops is still a little ways off here, despite all the action. These guys still just trying to turn their best pace and keep the car underneath them.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to be very, very careful entering the pit lane. Don't want to incur damage. Very tricky. Oh, Wathen. Not one to breathe the throttle on exit. Just put it to the floor.
He does seem to drive that way. But hey, it's working out for him. You know, looking at John Houston's times here, I'm wondering if maybe he hasn't picked up some damage there we didn't see on the first lap. I have to think that his pace is a little off. 08s. I think he would be running a little bit more toward the 07s personally. Ooh, Moses might have made a bit of a mistake. Suddenly dropped a second or so.
Ooh, into the pits for Moses. Early stop here. Cup it in as well.
More two-stop action here, Al.
Interesting. Ooh, Parsons in. I wonder if they went off of Parsons' cue here. This is going to be interesting. I'm shocked here. I thought they were going to be one stop in this race. John Houston in as well. Ooh. Slow getaway there from Parsons, and he's going to get out well ahead of Chris Moses.
Boy, I tell you, these guys are smart. They've got the strategies wired down, and I'll have thoughts on that whenever I have a few spare moments on why that might be.
Ooh, Cuppet comes out just ahead of Mike Greatrix. Cuppet on cold tires. Greatrix has several laps under his belt here on the current tires he's on. Bit of a moment there for Greatrix.
Yeah, and he might be going for that one-stop deal.
Yeah, and he's under a lot of pressure here from Marty Eiran at the same time, so it's be interesting.
You know, well, I want to wait till we see what happens with that action behind, but I'm wondering a little bit if the time it takes to fuel the car has swayed their decision. We saw that last race or the race before with Matt Taylor. Yeah, I think it was the last race. Matt Taylor making that one stop versus the other two stops. And the time that he lost in the pits just due to fueling was pretty massive, actually.
Houston with a moment there through the hairpin. Lotus is now 7 seconds behind Parsons on track. It's 4th and 5th place drivers. These guys have already pitted. Houston has pitted. See, Matt Taylor's staying out. John Wathan has stayed out. Gup Douglas now running. Ooh, Wathan in. Let's check out this pit entry. There's a big bump as you come over. What is the no chicane layout here? But Wathan is in. Very tricky pit in.
Yeah, not for the faint-hearted. That pit in could easily account for those couple seconds, extra seconds lost there by Chris Moses. So Greatrix yet to stop. Eiran yet to stop.
Douglas and Taylor also have yet to stop. Taylor leading the race. It's a 20-second advantage for Taylor over Eiran Parsons. If Taylor can, I think he can go the distance here on the softs. I think he's good to go.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm kind of surprised. If the softs hold up for, you know, the 13 laps you need them to, I'm kind of surprised they would make it. Split it up into a two-stop.
Yeah, well, we've seen the last couple weeks here, Mexico and the race before, the two-stop strategy has, in Mosport, the two-stop strategy has been the better strategy, albeit Taylor on the one stop did make a big mistake at Mosport, so I don't know, it's kind of up in the air. The one stop strategy tends to lose a lot of time to the guys on fresh soft tires there late in the race.
Yeah, and I really do think that there is something to the extra fuel being taken too.
Gup Douglas, he's going to stay out.
Yeah, well, definitely have to make it to lap 13. I mean, at least that's halfway, right?
And Parsons right behind him. It is, yep.
Yeah, get a chance to take a look at the lap times as they start rolling in now.
Greatrix into the pits. John Houston make his way past Marty Eiran. Houston currently in 7th. He'll jump up a couple positions here after the stops. Wathan is 5 seconds behind him on track. So Wathan, who has come in, has lost some ground to Houston, and wow, Kevin Miller really lost a boatload of time. He is 15 seconds behind John Houston, so not sure what happened there between those guys. Meanwhile, Eiran Parsons balked a little bit here by Gup Douglas. Gup not making it easy for him.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Gup very aware of these types of situations. Yeah, typically, and I thought we would have seen him just kind of scoot out of the way. But you know what? It's not a hard and fast rule. So
big slide there for Moses going into the hairpin as Cuppet is not making his life easy. He is really giving him the business here late.
No, it was the best lap of the race for both Chris Moses and Jonathan Cuppet there at 0.68 for both of them. So Moses trying to get away, Cuppet saying no.
Looks like the closest battle on track right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Nonetheless, it did, you know, with Gup coming up there and Moses setting that best lap, he did gain a bit of ground. But boy, you know, also with that two-stop strategy, talk about how difficult the pit entry is, and boy, you just, things can go wrong in the pits, you know? Maybe your pit app doesn't work, maybe you take it too deep on entry, maybe you make some other type of mistake, you didn't get the fuel right, these types of things, and boy, just extra margin for error these guys are going to have to be careful of. Boy, and Taylor should be in, I would think, this lap.
Yeah, I'm assuming he is coming in this lap. Let's check his lap times. Really good laps, though, nonetheless. 2:07's his last 3 times by.
Yeah.
So not too bad. Parsons, Parsons with an 07 and an 08.7. I think he was, that was when he was behind Gup for a couple laps there. Cuppet might have a run on Moses here. Moses with a bit of Moses nearly throws it off again.
Yeah, I think Cuppet is a bit in his head. But again, the margins are so tiny for maximizing your grip around here. The smallest amount over the limit. Just you're losing gobs of time.
Parsons has, Cuppet's coming in. Parsons has picked up some time on Cuppet. Ooh, Cuppet! That's exactly what we were talking about. Nearly put it into the wall. I mean, you just got to tiptoe your way through here.
So one stop for Taylor. He'll be off and away, and yeah, we'll see where he comes out relative to the second spot he was running earlier. Third. No. Oh, no, that's right, because he had made a mistake.
Yeah. Parsons does get past here, so Parsons now back to leading the race. Chris Moses just went by. Long stop for Taylor here.
Yeah, it's that fuel time, yep. Yeah, wow. Big difference.
And he is away. He's going to rejoin behind John Wathen. And maybe Kevin, I'm sorry, that's not Kevin Miller. That looks like Omar Gomez.
Well, 30 seconds, so when those guys have to come in again, you'd think that it would still be pretty close.
So Gup has made a stop. He's going to rejoin in 9th. Ahead of Jake Feimster, who is running in the top 10 and now currently in the pits. Getting serviced here.
Ooh, Moses slipped back a couple more seconds just now. Like Chris is really having trouble with that hairpin. Just pushing it too deep.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? Every time I see him go through there, it looks like he's going to take it off, but I don't know if that's just the way he's getting around there or what.
No, I don't think that's the way he wants to get around there. It's certainly not helping him.
So great tricks. Oh, Mike takes it off. Feimster was coming out of the pit lane and just great tricks carrying a little too much speed. Threw it off track. Jake's going to hang on to that 11th spot. Yeah, starting to come into the realm of potential lap traffic here coming up for these guys out front. Could play a role. Chandler gets past Calderon. Bit of a tiptoe action just now through that. Yeah, but Eiran Parsons really setting the tone here. 2:07.4, 2:07.2. He used to just set up his personal best 2:07 flat.
Yeah.
Moses really struggling. At 06 after that, high 07, 09. So losing out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was paying attention to those John Huston times as well, because it's going to be important to see where he comes out after his last stop and relative to Matt Taylor. That gap only 15 seconds, and John Huston has settled down now, started running some good laps, but boy, he was shaky there that first stint, and that could have cost him. So those guys, they should be coming in for their second stops here. Another couple, 3 laps.
It looked like, what was it, lap 9 Moses came in? Lap 9, I believe, so yeah.
Yeah.
Parsons also on a 2-stop situation.
Take a look at the tire compound just in case, but I don't think, no. Pretty much all saw. Mike Greatrix, Curtis Chandler, and Gup Douglas on the hards. Everyone else on the softs.
Parsons gets past some lap traffic unscathed. Lost a little bit of time to Moses there, but he's got some free track ahead of him now.
Yeah, Sergio definitely be pretty smart around traffic. Not going to be a problem for these guys.
I'll tell you what, after seeing PMI lock out the front row in qualifying, this is not what I would have expected here, Brad. I know you touched on it before the race got underway, but pretty amazing turn of events.
Yeah, I think the Aaron Parsons speed here, actually in race trim, was a little bit better, I think, than everybody expected, probably even Chris Moses. But Matt Taylor, he's still got a shot here on that one-stop strategy. I don't know that it's quite settled for him. Now, those guys will come out, of course, with less fuel and very good tires relative to Matt Taylor. Nonetheless, though, they will have to make stops, and he won't.
Now, if Taylor wins this race, the only way he can win the championship is if Parsons DNFs. And if Moses finishes like 16th or 15th.
Yeah.
Unlikely.
Yeah, pretty unlikely.
Yep. We're watching this battle between Greatrix trying to reel in Jake Feinster here. Getting close from time to time, but just not close enough here to be much of a threat here late in this second half of the race.
Yeah, a couple more laps, and those guys are going to make their stops, and we're going to have a lot of definition on what's going to, how things are shaping up. Wow.
Huge slide here as he makes his way past some lap traffic.
Yeah, that was a huge slide. Still a decent lap in the 07s.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, why bother, the drift cars in this game, just come out in these things.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I mean that's what I was talking about. That's the Chris Moses style, but you know what? That's going to hurt you toward the end of the stints. And look, that's why he's always driven. So I'm not saying anything he doesn't know, believe me. But in situations like this, that is a bit of an Achilles heel for him.
So Matt Taylor just set his personal best, dipping into the 06s. As he runs around in 6th presently, but we expect these guys up in front of him to make another stop. So I think now's the time for these guys to come in. this lap or the next, Brad.
Yep. Yep, I'm sure they have a little bit of wiggle room in there, but it's not going to be more than a couple.
Parsons here to see what he elects to do. He's going to stay out.
Wow. Just flipping through some of the times here, just having a look on Gup Douglas's time. He did not run outside of a 2 minute now 09, but on the hard tires, went 10 straight laps running in the 09s. Really impressive consistency for Gup. I mean, that's like really impressive.
Yeah, it looks like he is locked in here, running in ninth, having a great run after starting from the back. Instead of time of qualifying, but has sliced his way through the field here for a top 10 run.
So my eyes are glued to the John Huston, Matt Taylor positions here when those stops cycle through.
15, just under 15 seconds separating those two. Yeah, I don't. Grant, given the nature of the pit in the entry lane, I think Taylor's gonna have the advantage over Houston.
Taylor will get out front. Yeah, Taylor will get out front, and yeah, John Huston's times are slipping off once again. So it was looking like he might be able to put enough laps together to try to close that distance down. But nonetheless, this is where the team battle really is gonna be told here between those two positions potentially. So.
I mean, Cuppet knows what's at stake for these guys, and I think there's been a couple opportunities where he could have maybe pushed the issue here and made a move on Moses, but been running maybe tail here for pretty much the entire race. Parsons is in.
Here we go.
Moses is signing that wheel. Oh, that's going to cost you time. All right, pit stop's underway here. Second stop for these guys. Let's see where Taylor is. Houston in the pits.
Yeah, I think Taylor's going to take over the... I think he's going to take over the lead.
We just saw that. Yep. Taylor just drove past. Moses is away. Ooh, Moses actually might have picked up some time there on that stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he cut the gap down to about still 4 seconds.
Well... It's still virtually the same situation. So Moses coming out behind Aaron Parsons. If he gets past Parsons, you can bet team orders are going to be coming down, and Matt Taylor is going to be slowing up to try to give that position to Moses for the win, because one position isn't going to do it. If you're Chris Moses, he needs that win.
Yeah, he certainly does. Yeah, it's going to be only. Second to Parsons, that's Parsons in third. That's only a 2-point gap. And I think Parsons has led the most laps so far, so won't be enough.
Wow, so I mean, it's looking to me like the two-stop was the way to go then if you're Matt Taylor. I mean, he's going to be giving up a little bit of ground here with the tires, and Aaron Parsons, it looks like he does have pace on Matt Taylor too, but nonetheless, that he certainly got out to the lead.
looking good right now for PMR in terms of the team championship.
Yeah, they'd have it locked up. Yeah, that's why I was looking so closely at Houston, but he just was never able to match the times out there on track, and this could cost him.
Lap traffic up ahead. Car not I don't think. We got someone coming out of the pits. Good job letting the leaders pass.
That's really heads up by Curtis Chandler, actually, too. Oh.
Cuppin gets passed also. Nice job by those guys.
Yeah, Curtis, I'm sure I was watching, I was on board Chris Moses at the time, I'm sure Curtis Chandler, he had a few options there, and a couple of them were really bad options if you're Chris Moses, but Curtis was really heads up there and backed way off way early.
You see the gap now, under 3 seconds between Parsons and Matt Taylor. Taylor's going to do his best to keep Parsons behind, but it'll just be a matter of time here, Brad.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, look, there's only 6 laps to go, but Parsons likely does have the pace in hand. You know, how closely, how much will Matt Taylor fight out there for that position in front? I don't know.
Taylor 2:07.8 his last time by. Parsons is outlap from the pits, 2:12.9. Better than his last time in the pits. Moses had a slightly slower in and out lap the second time around, but he picked up some time on Parsons. Yeah, it's just a great way to end such a long season. It's been 12 weeks. And to have it come down to just a handful of points in both categories, it's just awesome.
Yeah, one position, given or taken here is the difference.
And Parsons, with the bit between his teeth, he has just set fast lap of the race, or reset it, 2:06.5 for Parsons.
Yeah, if you're Aaron Parsons, you're winning the championship at this point. Don't necessarily have to take that position, but also you could lose the championship if you lose just one position too. So it's yeah, interesting situation with 5 laps to go, and it's still all in doubt after 12 races. So you're absolutely right.
Gap now 5 seconds between Parsons and Chris Moses, so Parsons picking up time on Chris here. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if that style
it must be
of driving is really hurting him.
Well, I mean, I think that obviously at the hairpin, I think that's obviously his line through there. I'm kind of surprised by it, but he does it every lap, so it must be.
Under 2 seconds now. Taylor to Parsons. Moses second, 7 seconds off the leader now. 6 seconds off of Parsons in second. So Moses losing time as Parsons throwing down some really fast laps.
Of course, it could come down to gearing too. If you do take the apex, the short apex, and try to get on the throttle quickly, you do have to have the gearing set up a little bit better to get good, to spin the motor up quickly. If you swing it wide out and straighten the car up, you can just romp on it.
Reset again, 2:06.3.
Wow.
Moses with a 2:06.4. Cuppett now with a 2:06.1. These times are dropping. Cuppett now with the fast lap of the race.
Boy, if you're Aaron Parsons, though, you don't want to get overly aggressive here. The one thing you can't do if you're Aaron Parsons is throw it off track at this point.
Or run out of fuel. Let's keep in mind these guys might have taken just enough fuel here to make it to the end.
Well, we've seen that before,
yeah,
too.
We have.
Sure.
Certainly have. Gap now under a second between Parsons and Taylor.
I think, oh God, points are so close. I think if Houston and Parsons both elevate their position, they can retain that, the team title, I think.
Moses has picked up 2 seconds in the lap, a lap and a half. Houston, however, is 10 seconds off of Jonathan Cuppett. So should Cuppett suffer some kind of catastrophic off or something like that?
Yeah, that's what it would take,
It's
yeah.
a tough deal for Houston and T. Brock Danby on that one.
Yeah, Matt, one of the PMR guys would either have to lose a couple positions or, T. Brock Danbam is not in an enviable position, that's for sure. But first things first, Aaron Parsons has to get to the lead. That's the first part of the equation. 3 laps to go, and he's right there.
He is right there. Now, if Taylor can hold him up here for a few laps, not that he would do that deliberately, but let's not make it easy on Parsons to get around. Moses could certainly pick up some time here. Close up a bit here with 3 laps remaining.
Yep. Yeah, Parsons is not going to wait.
Go side by side here as they approach Spoon. I think what Parsons should do, I think what he's going to do is just try and get up close with him at the chicane and then power pass down the straight.
Sure,
That's your best here to get by.
Yeah, that's definitely your best opportunity. Matt Taylor is not likely to make a mistake.
Bit of a slide there for Taylor. That's a bit of a mistake. Oh yeah, Potts is going to get a run on him here. Enter turn 1. Ooh, Taylor, did he throw it off? He did.
Did he hold on to it?
He threw it off. He's coming back on track right in front of his teammate. Fighting for that position, just pushing a little too hard.
Yeah, he'll get out of the way.
It's out of the way of Moses. Gap 3 seconds now.
Now can Cuppett take advantage? This helps T. Brock Danbam's coverage if Cuppett can now take advantage.
Loses it. Where is Houston on track?
Well, he's a ways off, but now that's going to be some damage for Cuppett.
Cuppett's back underway here.
Well, Moses can see him. I mean, that's all you can ask for. Coming down to it, he's got the championship running just in front of him.
I gotta bust out my pencil.
There's a threw it off. It's Spoon. He threw it off.
Oh, he's got it back under control here. He's got a second up on Moses. Man, this is too much for me. I can't handle it, Brett. This is it. This is the championship right here, folks. Championship leader leading the race. Chris Moses in second. He needs to win this race to win the championship. And you have 7/10 of a second separating the two with 2 laps to go.
Oh boy, we could see the old Senna Prost coming up here. Eiran knocks them both out. He'll walk away with it. Oh no, he wouldn't actually, because Matt Taylor would go under the...
Yeah, that's true.
Boy, Eiran Parsons looking a little flustered. Looking a little flustered now. And I tell you, I think both these guys have done a bit of damage to their tires now by this point. And it does make a difference. You absolutely will get some tire degradation, particularly on the softs on this car. But if you're Chris Moses, this is the enviable position, really. When it's always a little easier to be chasing rather than to be chased.
Oh, if things turn out the way they are, Brad, it's 39 points each for each team. Brock Dampier hangs on to the team championship.
Yeah, and Cuppet, I think Cuppet still has a reasonable shot here. He is only 1 second back of Matt Taylor, and if Cuppet does take that position, then that should seal it up for Brock Dampier.
Well, with Moses here as he makes his way through 130R. Trying to reel in Parsons here. Heavy on the brakes. Oh, pushing too hard. Ooh, that's going to get, that might have done it right there, Brad. That might be it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Eiran Parsons looking a little bit better in the very low speed events. Looking pretty similar on the higher speed stuff, but you're absolutely right. That could have sealed the fate, I think, if you're Eiran Parsons. In one
Moses throws it off. Moses is throwing it off. That's going to be it.
From the teammate. Well, not necessarily. Parsons can still throw it off himself.
That's true.
He'll be careful now at this point. Wow. Oh, Taylor, he's giving up some ground to Cuppet here as well.
Yeah, Taylor's pushing too hard.
He got out of rhythm.
Might have toasted his tires here.
Boy, still out of rhythm coming up here through Dunlop as well.
Watching our race leader, championship leader, Parsons, with 5 seconds up on Chris Moses. What a stunning turn of events here, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
Houston not far off in the distance now, only 2 seconds off of Cuppet. Some lap traffic up ahead for Parsons. Don't think it's going to be an issue. Aaron Parsons are through the chicane for the final time here. Someone really gets out of the way, drives it off track. But Aaron Parsons is your season 29 Formula Lotus champion and winner here at Suzuka. Unbelievable drive. Chris Mose is going to take second. Taylor's going to come home in third. John Houston fourth. What happened to Cuppet, Brad?
Well, Cuppet got a little wrong going into the chicane, and Houston actually gave him a bump in the rear.
Cuppet in fifth. John Wathen. Wathen hangs on here on the lead lap. Ooh, nearly throws it off. But doesn't matter. He is your competition index winner for season 29, and look at, he loves it.
Wow, nice season.
What a run for Gup Douglas here. He's going to finish seventh.
Hell of a run for hell of a run. Yeah. Wow.
Greg Meyer's going to come home here in eighth. Nice job for Greg. And that's it, Greg, the last car on the lead lap. Bring in our winners here. Aaron Parsons and John Houston, do you copy?
Got you loud and clear.
Congratulations, guys, on an unbelievable season. I'm pretty sure you guys locked up the team championship along with the drivers championship here tonight for Parsons. What a way to end your season in dramatic fashion. It must be said that qualifying, me and Brad and I were talking about it there, how important it was for you to try to get at least in front of Matt Taylor. And it didn't happen. Moses got pole, got the bonus point. Made that mistake on lap one as you were getting past Taylor going into one. And man, what an unbelievable drive. Two-stop strategy. You had a moment there at the end of the race. Nearly threw it away yourself there, Aaron. But you managed to hang on there at the end. Congratulations.
Thanks, Al. Have you done the calculations?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So it's very close.
Yeah, no, I think you guys both with 39 points, so you guys tied it. I think you led the most laps. Pretty sure you did.
Woohoo! Yeah, that was an exciting race. Great way to end the season. Great competitors from Chris and Matt all season. And yeah, that really worked out the way, just as I was passing Matt going into turn one, Chris went wide. And I was on the inside, so that really worked out well for me. To be able to get into the lead and put the hammer down to extend a bit of a gap to Matt. Because if Matt could have held me behind on his one stop, it would have made it a lot harder at the end of the race.
Yeah, you ended up having to make that pass on Matt Taylor. They're twice able to get it done both times going there into one. So it worked out well for you tonight. But just the tension of that race had to be pretty high. And I'm thinking from even 5 minutes before the race all the way to the last damn lap, more or less. Just how much pressure was there in that race, and then as it unfolded?
Yeah, I kind of felt it in quali. I could have possibly challenged Chris for a pole, but I kept mucking it up. I was a bit too tense. But then the way the race worked out, I was chasing from the beginning, and then I figured Matt would be on a one stop, so I knew I had to put the hammer down and do good laps consistently. And then after the second stop, I had the target of Matt to chase down, So I just concentrated on doing that, and that's why I screwed up on the second to last lap. Because I'd gotten past Matt, lost concentration. I was just kind of cruising in cruise mode, and I missed my brake marker for the spoon. But luckily, I didn't go too far off track.
So, Eiran, you won the first race of the season. Had that big DNF at Paul Ricard. A couple guys DNF there. Moses did as well. You won at Brands Hatch, and then you went on a string of, your 4 out of 5 races you finished on the podium. Had a tough week last week at Mexico, but I mean, just consistent results, pretty much week after week. I mean, what was the key to that? Was it just staying out of trouble? I know these cars are very sensitive to damage and whatnot, but man, it was just consistent driving from you.
Right from the beginning, I had just a really good feel for the car, and I think Chris has alluded to it before. The setup changes you make on the car really make sense, and you can really, you can make a change and then feel if it was definitely good change or a bad change, and so you can really tune it to your own particular driving style. And I kept refining the setup every race, and it just really suited me. And I think this is probably my favorite sim car of all time. Just absolutely beautiful to drive.
Wow, that's saying a lot. You've done a lot of driving in sims, I know that for a fact. But as a team, Houston, big result here tonight. Kind of the outside looking in there for a little while, and you ended up getting past Cuppet there at the end. But I don't think that would have mattered, even if you guys finished, even if you finished where you were. It looked like you still had it in the bag. But Houston, you yourself, you had that big win at Spa, XXIX, a tough track, and you were the class of the field there. And but you yourself had a number of podium finishes and podium last week in Mexico, and put together a great season yourself, and was in the hunt there for the championship near the end.
Yeah, I had a couple of bad races right at the last couple of weeks, and not last week at Mexico, but the 2 prior, and that really kind of sealed the deal for me. Unfortunately, I'd been doing pretty good and had 1 bad result prior to that, but I'll echo what Ezra said about this car. It's just a beautiful car to drive. It's just so much fun. You can get it right to the edge and lose it a little bit and just gather it back up, where a lot of the other cars, you just can't do that. You lose it and you're gone into the fence. But just a fantastic car to drive. I think I scored points in every race, so that's a big thumbs up to myself. I don't think I've done that yet any season, so that's great.
Yeah, well, and I would have the same question for you real quickly that I had for Ezra about this race in particular and the kind of pressure. Now, you were kind of a bit on the back foot, looked maybe even a little shaky there in the first stint, but did manage to come back, and looks like we're able to do just enough to elevate your team up into those points. But again, was this a race where the pressure, you were feeling the pressure quite a bit?
Yeah, Brad, I had a lot of practice, felt comfortable with the car. I jumped in the car this evening, and it just felt totally out of sort. I don't know why, but maybe the pressure did get to me. Didn't have a great qualifying, just never really put together a great lap. 5th, and then slow off the line. So a car or 2 got ahead of me, and just kind of held me back, kind of disrupted my rhythm a little bit, and so just tried to do the best that I can to hit my marks and get through the race. So I'm happy to finish where I did. It's a little bit of contact along the way I don't like, but I'll take it. Well,
congratulations both of you guys on an unbelievable season, knocking PMR. They were going for 3 in a row there. That's an amazing job that you guys were able to come away with that championship, because those guys are really strong. And tip of the hat to you guys. Good job this season. look forward to more of it
Thank
next
you.
season.
Yeah, they came on strong.
Yeah, congrats to PMR too, because they had put up a fantastic fight this season. Had some really great battles with Chris this season. It was incredibly fun. And I want to thank Chris for setting up the season. Great car and great tracks. Every race this season was awesome.
Yeah.
And thanks to you guys for the broadcasting.
Oh, you're welcome, Aaron, and congratulations, guys, again.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring up our competition index winner, John Wathen. John, congratulations on winning the competition index in season 29.
You believe that stuff?
No, I do not. Believe it or not, I'm stunned. I'm shocked. I think Brad is kind of surprised as well, but we're actually very proud of you, John. You know, you kind of, there was a while there when GTR2, I understand that, but I mean, you really, once you realize you were in it 100%. That was great to see.
Yeah. I was like a 50-1 shot at the beginning of the season, so maybe more than that. So, yeah, once I got a taste for it and kind of looked at it and thought, well, I'm not that far back. I went and looked at the trophy and thought, well, I'm gonna give it my all, and I took it easy kind of the last few races, and just finished on the lead lap and took it home.
Well, it turns out, and by the way, I'm not actually terribly surprised at all, and congratulations from this end too. So, but in the end, I mean, you did a little bit more than just kind of drive around the track the last half of the season. I mean, this is really where you did your damage. So coming away with a podium and a bunch of near podiums week after week. So missing points this season just there at Brands Hatch. Way back then is the only points that you missed out. So scoring points in every event and coming on terribly strong there towards the end of the season. I mean, does this give you a lot of motivation going forward to really go after some of those, overall driver points next season, maybe even?
Well, yeah. I mean, it motivates me definitely. I don't know if I've got the speed to do that, but I'm glad to hear that the cars that we're driving next season are similar to these, because they are so fun to drive. It's amazing.
Well, John, honestly, congratulations. Like I said, I'm actually really proud of you. And I think this is your first ever trophy, right?
Yep. Very first.
On almost 10 years, you've been with us since the beginning. So congratulations. And you deserved it. You had a good season.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. And great job on the broadcast. It's awesome to watch.
Thank you very much. All right, and now get to work and start practicing for next season. Back up that
you got it. Oh, and I wanted to thank you for the I don't know if it was you that chose the tracks for this season, but the track pack was phenomenal.
It was not me, but yeah, it was a pretty good, pretty nice selection of tracks. Pretty to try to make it authentic there for the season. So it was pretty cool. To the cars we were driving. But congratulations, John, and let's have a good broadcast next Thursday. Make sure you tell Marty to take down the track map.
You got it.
All right, thank you. All right, Brad. Well, another season comes to an end here. Seems like we've been broadcasting now for years. And man, nothing ever really, some seasons guys just run away with it, but in the last race is kind of a snooze. But hasn't been the case the last couple seasons here, especially in AC. I think things are really close in terms of results, the drivers, and the competition as a whole. And both leagues are really close.
Well, it's you're just subject to the vagaries of the season, and things are out of drivers' control sometimes. It is, of course, on the internet. We're all online, and sometimes guys just drop, and people have problems. And a championship is going to unfold just kind of the way it is. But when you have such a collection of good, fast drivers from top to bottom, more often than not, you're going to get championships like this. And We've had more close championships than we've had runaways. That's for sure. Going back way to the GTR2 days when we were running Spa every season. I mean 90% of the time we're coming down to these close finishes. So it's great to see. It keeps it exciting for us, and already can't wait for next season, Al.
Yeah, same here. So, yeah, thanks everybody who's tuned in this season. Thanks to everybody who's contributed to the league. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Brad, for helping me out all season long doing these broadcasts. And NorthAmericanGP.com. Get on the forum if you're interested in racing with us. Is race on Monday and Thursday nights, and it's like Brad said, it's really fantastic racing. Some very helpful drivers in the league as well. Pretty tight-knit community. Everybody really gets along. So if you're interested, jump on over to the site and let us know you want to race, and we'll get you running next season. But until next season, we'll be back probably in a month or so, maybe a little longer, but shouldn't be too much of a break before we're back for season 30. And thanks everybody again who's watched our broadcasts, fumble through it for the last 12 weeks or so. Thank you, and thanks, Brad. See you guys soon. Oh, and make sure you tune in Thursday night for the season 29 finale of the Nordschleife and GT and the Thursday night GT series at 9. Marty and Wathen will have that broadcast for you. That's a close one as well, so it should be a lot of fun. So see you guys soon. Thanks again. Bye bye.